Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, back here at the Texas High School Coaches Association and Convention here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. We are here with the head coach of the Waco University Trojans, Coach Kaeron Johnson. Coach, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you, man.
Now, last year we did this interview, and we had some audio issues, and the interview got lost in the internet, so we had to get you back and do a make good and talk about those Trojans in 2024. Looking back at last year, your first year in the program, you guys make the playoffs. I know it didn't end kind of on the way you wanted to end, obviously, but you know, it only ends that way for really one team in each division. For you in year one, learning on the job and trying to, you know, get your program established on the right foot, I mean, I think it's always a learning experience. So for you, you know, what did you kind of learn about yourself as a coach in your first year as a head coach?
Man, more than anything, I learned that I don't know what I don't know, you know, until it happens. And it happens fast. You know, it's something I thought I was prepared to be a head coach, and I think once you get in that seat and there's, you know, questions flying at you and you've got to be the person to figure it out, you know, you realize how you can never just really be completely prepared for it. So, you know, I was blessed with a good group. We were very young, a lot of kids coming back, heavy sophomore, you know, and going to be junior class that we have. And so last year was big for us, getting a lot of those young guys on the field. And you know, we got to a couple of moments that we just hadn't been to. You know, we lined up against Belton in the district championship and didn't play our best, you know, and I think that L that we took at the end of the year in game 10 just kind of rolled over in the next week with us just not handling and adjusting well to what happened the week before, and we just weren't able to get it done. So we're way more mature, did a lot of growing over this offseason, so I'm excited to see this thing run back this year.
You mentioned for yourself, you know, you don't know what you don't know. You're getting, I mean, for you were getting really on-the-job training, you know, and those types of things. How, for you, you know, last year you got hired late, you know, and you're here at coaching school and you're drinking from a fire hose because you're still trying to learn your kids, but you got to come down here and do the coaching thing and that kind of thing. Going into this year, how much more comfortable and just, you know, the whole vibe around the program, you got to be settled in, and I think it's more of a quote-unquote, I mean, no off-season is normal, but you had a full off-season with your kids to kind of really establish your culture and those expectations, and that's got to really be huge going into this season.
There's no doubt, and I mean, you know, like I know, I didn't inherit anything that was broken. I mean, Coach Laster did a hell of a job before he left. What I came into and what people, you know, think that I walked into, it really wasn't. The kids want to be good, and that makes it easy. I don't have to worry about them not showing up. I don't have to worry about them not working hard. You know, they want to get it done, and they want to win as many football games as they can. And so this offseason was big for us on just coming together as a family, understanding that one person's actions affects everybody, and that, you know, the only way we're going to make this thing go is if we're all on the same page. And so it was big for us, and I'm excited. I mean, we're in a place right now where, you know, new offensive coordinator and Holden Seward, who's Coach Tim Seward's son, you know, he's got a Browse background and took a step back from being an offensive coordinator to go work for Chad President last year at Midway, just because he wanted to add some things to his arsenal. And so blessed to get him, blessed to have him build his staff and get this thing ready to go. And so I expect us to do some pretty big things this year.
Now, with those expectations comes, you know, a target a little bit. You know, now I think University for a long time had struggled, and now you guys, you know, it's Coach Laster kind of got things, the arrow pointing in the right direction. You're keeping that going and hoping to take it to another level. But with that comes a target on your back and expectations, and how your kids handle those expectations. You've been around great programs as a player and as a coach. What do you talk to your kids about? Hey, you know, we got to come to play every week. We got to handle those expectations and live up to it and exceed that, because if we don't, we got a target on our back, and you know, somebody's season could be made if they beat us tonight. You know, how do you kind of talk to your kids and handle that?
Well, our biggest thing right now is pressure makes dominance, and you know, the community that I'm in, the kids I deal with, they've got to learn to handle pressure, and it's something that we don't do well, and that's one thing that we really harped on, was just growing up and being able to, when things get tight, when things get hard, how am I going to respond and react to it? And so we've done a hell of a job with it this off season, rolling into this summer. It helps having kids like London, who comes from a championship, you know, breed, as genetics, from mom being an Olympian to dad being an All-American at Baylor, and you know, you add in Devontre Kirkland, who's kind of the same way. way, and the kids are there, and they're led by a solid foundation that hasn't been around university before, and so they make it easy, man. I just got to show up, have a plan, build and love on them a little bit, and they run with everything else.
When you look at UIL realignment, I think you guys, being where you are located geographically in 5A Division II, you can go any number of different directions.
No doubt.
You stayed a little more local. Obviously, it's a very tough district, but you had to find 5 non-district games. So the good thing, I think the cool thing about it locally is you get to rekindle or make that game against Waco High a district ball game.
No doubt.
How did you feel when the district came out? Obviously, it's going to bring some challenges, but you kind of expected that, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Obviously we wanted Belton again. They've kind of been been stepping on us a little bit the last 2 years. So excited that we got to keep them, getting a program like Brenham to join and add it to our deals. Traditional program.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something for my kids to go down to Brenham and be able to see how it goes down, in a place that's full and rich in tradition. And then, like you said, Waco. I mean, what more can you ask for being the head coach at university than getting the line up against Waco and game made as a district game? And so we're excited. It's easy to talk about it, but when you're around the kids and you feel how they feel about it, and them understanding that they're, like you said, there's a target on our back, and we're not surprising anybody anymore. Everybody knows who we are, what we have, and we just got to go play. We loaded up the pre-district schedule, to get us ready for what we'll see in playoffs. And so, lining up against China Spring Week 3 is going to be big for us. It's a local rival. China Spring's kind of been on top of Waco, so that'll be a good test for us.
Sure,
and then the following week we got to go to Shoemaker and play them on a Thursday night, and
really talented team.
Very talented, and Coach Foreman's a hell of a ball coach, and so seeing those two teams early is going to compare to what we'll see in round 2, round 3, which is what we're trying to get at. And I think if we can get some action early, it's going to ultimately help us in the long run.
You mentioned the experience you got. You had more of a younger team last year, and those kids now have got some experience. Do you have a feel yet for what the personality of your ball club is going to be? What do you, if university is going to have the kind of season that you want to have, what are you guys going to need to hang your hat on?
Man, we just got to hang our hat on us, doing what we do, doing what we want to do, doing it how we want to do it, and not worrying about anything or anyone else. Shane Anderson always said, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down my way. And that's kind of how we kind of live with it is, if we're going to go down, if something's going to happen, it's going to be because of us, not something else that affects what we're doing. And so they love each other, they fight for each other. We wear family proud, and then we're South Waco, so we deem the South Side, and just embracing who we are and how it was back in 02 and 03 when LT was there, and getting the pride of the South back going. And so it's big for us this year. It's a coming out party. I think we've been right on the brink, but I think this year with how we prepared and what we're looking for, going into it, I think we're going to make a massive stride this year.
When you look at that, just that building of a program and trying to get, is it one of those deals that if you can get that one kind of win, that buy-in is all, if you can get that one win, because you mentioned it, you guys have been kind of knocking on the door and been right there. If you can get that one win, it can kind of snowball, right?
It's that program changing win. You just got to get it. And me personally, I think it's week 3 when you get to line up against a former state champion, a recent state champion in China Spring. I think doing something around Waco and in front of a Waco crowd and kind of that coming out is what really changes the program and how the kids feel about each game, and ultimately what allows you to play as long as possible. And so, we're looking forward this year, trying to make an impact, trying to make this thing go.
All right, a couple of fun questions for you, Coach.
Okay.
First off, for those of you who don't know, you are a very proud Cuero gobbler.
Ass-kicking chicken.
Those guys win a lot of football games in Cuero.
Yeah.
Think back to your days in Cuero. what's a Friday night in Cuero like? And would you like? I mean, I know Waco's different than Cuero, but can you replicate some of that small town atmosphere at a university game, kind of that community feel? Because I know in Cuero they have it. So is that something you think you can replicate somewhat in South Waco?
Man, we're trying, but it's hard. I mean, Cuero was something different. I mean, when they say the town shuts down, I mean the town shuts down, and everybody's at the ball game.
Can't get a bite to eat in Cuero.
There's no way. You can stop at
open,
the
right?
Whataburger. That's about it. But man, just the pride of that place was it's so different, and how people just grow up wanting to be a Gobbler, and they just don't know anything else. You know, I'll never forget. We go to San Antonio. We play Wimberley in 2000, and had to be football season in 2006. And we were predicted to beat them pretty good. They had Michael Boosie at running back, had a good little squad, and ended up beating us up pretty good in that Alamo Dome. And so by the time we got back to Cuero, all of our football coaches' cars had cement poured in them, and because of the upset. And I'm just like, guys, this is crazy. I can never be a part of anything. But when Cuero, I feel for Coach Feacock, because like I said, it might have been a dream for mine at one point, but now it takes a real man to be able to handle Cuero and everything that comes with it. The expectation, man.
I went to college with a guy. I played basketball at Trinity Valley. I went to college with a guy from Cuero, Kiston Ball.
Yeah,
Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki Ball.
Kiki. You talk about a proud Cuero guy. Yeah. He was walking around and he was like, "I'm from Cuero." And
There's no doubt.
He was like proud, and it was like, "I'm from Cuero,"
Yeah.
And so it was always you knew that the Gobblers. If you say the Cuero Gobblers, most people in Texas know exactly.
There's no doubt exactly who you're talking about.
All right, now let's look to your college alma mater, the Baylor Bears, in 2024. How excited are you about the season? I think they're last couple of years have been tough, but I think they've got some things turned around, and I'm sure you're open for big things from Baylor, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. I'm excited with the hire Spav. I think he'll be big for us. Coach Browse came in and did something different at Baylor and added a little bit of excitement with how he did things offensively. I think us kind of getting back to that with Coach Spav is going to elevate things tremendously, not just recruiting, but just excitement at the stadiums, right? The energy. Being able to have big play potential at any point in time is big for us. And, I think Coach Aranda does a heck of a job. Obviously they're recruiting London pretty hard, and I've had to sit down with him, and his guys come in, but man, they're just they do things the right way, and I think that's really all you can ask for as an alumni. They take care of me and make sure as a local head coach that I have everything that I need, or if I need support from them, whatever it is. And
that's awesome that they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do a really good job. And so there was a time when I was real upset, being a Baylor fan and going and watching us run wide zone 20 times and gain 5 yards of it. But now it's it's almost like a reset for us, bringing in Spav and trying to,
I think some of that energy is going to come back to the stadium.
There's no doubt.
All right, one question before we get you out of here. I want you to think about your coaching career. Who's the one guy, the best player that you've had to coach against, where you popped on the film and you're like, oh, that guy's going to give us a problem today?
Best that I've had to coach against. Man, so when I was at Katie Mae Creek, we lined up against Taylor, and Taylor had Bryce Foster. And they had the Hayden kid. Is it Hayden Connor that went to Texas?
Yeah.
Man, that offensive line was unreal. And so on left tackle was the guy that went to TCU.
Was that the Taylor team that went to the semifinals?
So they went to the semifinals the next year. But the year before they had Thudline, and then they also had Max Wright, the defensive end that played at Texas A&M. And so, man, that team just putting them on film. And obviously you got to play Katie late in the year, and Katie has some good players, but I mean, Bryce Foster has been a man since, a long time. Yeah. I mean, you don't walk into Texas A&M and walk and start at center as a freshman without being a dude. And so I'd probably say him. But, man, there's been a bunch of them. It's
you're coaching in Texas.
Coaching in Texas, you're going to run into somebody. And it's some of them big-time names. Some of them are little guys you'll never hear about because they're 5'6" and scatty. So
they're good players, right?
Good players.
Yeah, Foster was one that was. I mean, it's hard for an offensive lineman to pop on film, and he was an offensive lineman that you pop on the tape and you're like, okay.
Yeah, this guy's
he's
different.
The real deal.
Real deal.
That's Kaeron Johnson, the head coach there at Waco University. Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us. Good luck in 2024. And as always, we appreciate what you do for student athletes in the state of Texas.
Yes, sir. Thanks, buddy.